Hey, you already know what it is. You already know what it is, don't you? To George W. Oh, man. If you want to get some cool mugs or something or t-shirts, there's a link to the merch store in the description box down below. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Trace Trades. We give technical analysis on different stocks in the stock market, as well as potential buy, hold, or sell opinions on these given stocks. I like to preface by saying that I'm not a financial advisor nor expert, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Let's get into the video. Today, my friends, we're looking at the market correction that has been taking place over the last couple of days. I put out a video talking about this a couple days back, and I got some mixed reviews, right? But I really waited until the last minute to talk about this topic because I hate fear-mongering. And I truly do not like the fact that some people will use this market crash or market correction, video profile to scare people or to get views or whatever it may be. But this truly, to me, is a topic that I want to not per se educate people on, but give some guidance on, right? Because I think there's, a little bit of fear, a little bit of, panic in terms of this market correction, and it is not a bad thing. In fact, I encourage red days. It is the opportunity for you to take a macroscopic step back, right? And say, hey, based on what we're seeing right now, this is an opportunity for me to really capitalize on some long-term gains. So, gains. I said games because I just got done recording a video about AMC, but you get the picture here. So we're going to look at the NASDAQ. I've got the NASDAQ pulled up here really quick. So let's just take a quick chat and see what we're looking at. So one thing that I want to point out to you guys here really quick, I'm just going to clear out the charts and draw up all new trend lines. So what am I seeing? Well, we had a crazy bull run for a long time between, I would say, November of 2020 up until now, February 16th of 2021. So that is insane. And if we look at, last time we had a little bit of a pullback or a market correction, we saw one back in September, little micro pullback, nothing crazy. Had a George W, a double bottom, which is typically a sign of an upcoming bullish run. We ended up getting that, right? So that was the last time we saw a little bit of a market correction. However, last major market correction took place during the COVID and quarantine pandemic situation. This was around the beginning of March. There was a little bit of, fear and anticipation of a possible market sell-off. And then we really saw it happen down here, right? And I just want to back it up here so we can take a more macroscopic view than this and show you guys, what this looks like in the grand scheme of things. So if we were to take a quick peek at the grand scheme of things, right, this huge market sell-off that we saw in March, what does this look like? Well, if you draw this up from the base of the last run-up and compare how strong of a pullback this was, you saw a retracement of about 50%, basically a picture-perfect bounce off of that 50% retracement on the Fibonacci. What does this mean? Why am I sharing this with you, right? Because this shows you there's a lot of strength in the NASDAQ. That gives you an idea of a trend that you can predict for upcoming, pullbacks. And that's a good thing. In fact, you can take the same principle and apply it right here, which you saw another exactly 50% retracement on the NASDAQ, right? So that's very significant. And I want to point that out in terms of, different trends that we saw. And you could have predicted this. I 100% think you could have predicted this pullback. And I'm going to tell you why. We have this ascending level of support right here, right? We got a false break, which I wouldn't quite signify, especially with something like the NASDAQ. Of course, this is on a weekly chart, but for me to signify a true breakaway from support, right? I want to see a hard candle push underneath, which is what we get right here. An open and a close beneath that support line, which we got a little bit right here, a little bit of a false breakdown, but it dipped back up. This could have actually been a warning sign of an upcoming potential market correction right here. But you get the picture here. Once we got that hard candle that closed, opened and closed beneath that level of support, we got that sell-off. We recovered off there. We got that 50% retracement bounce, and the picture repeats again, right? The market has patterns. They follow these same sort of trends. We get this ascending level of support. We get this wide range candle bar that breaks beneath it. I ideally would have liked to see it open and close beneath it, but we get it here. And we got a long topping tail in this candle, which to me signifies, right, on a weekly candle basis, that we've broken that level of support. Saw that sell off, got another 50% bounce, and we're back in business, right? So what's happening now? Well, we had a crazy bull market recovery off of that pandemic sell-off. We got a little bit of a pullback right here. It lasted for about a month. Got a little bit of green, bounced very well. I'm going to drop a Fibonacci retracement just to give you an idea of what this looks like. And I'd be dang surprised if this isn't like a 50% retracement. In fact, it really wasn't even a bad one at all. That was like a 38.2% retracement, which is super nice. That is not a harsh retracement in the least bit, right? So now if we look at this, right, this microscopic pullback that we're seeing right now, what does this actually look like? So I'm going to change this back to the daily charts. This is going to give you the same overall picture, but I'm going to drop another Fibonacci retracement. We're going to get an idea of what this pullback might actually look like. So taking the most recent price action, we can see that we've already tested 38.2%, right? We've already done it. We rejected, we haven't quite gotten that bounce off of 38.2%, which means that we're pretty likely going to see, whether you want to believe it or not, just based on previous trends, these are the two levels of Fibonacci retracements that we've seen bounces off of at 50%, which is about $12,598. So I personally believe, and I'm not saying this to scare anybody, I'm not saying this to get you to sell your positions. In fact, I don't want you to do that. I'm saying this because I want to get you ready for the worst case scenario, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Worst case scenario, I'm wrong. This is the bottom, right? This is the end of the sell-off. But candle setup wise, this is not telling me this is the bottom. There's absolutely nothing on the chart telling me, hey, we're about to see a bounce here. We're about to see the bull market continue, right? And that's just not the case. But one thing that I do like, that I do want to give you as maybe some hope here, is I don't think that the amount of distance we have to cover to reach the bottom here is that much. So we were down 3.5% today on the NASDAQ. That's how much distance this huge red candle covered, which is a lot. That's a lot for an ETF to give back 3.5%, right? So the rate at which this has been pulling back to me signifies that you're pretty likely to see this bottom out in a very, very quick manner. I don't think this is going to be a 2-week sell-off. I don't think it's going to be a 1-month sell-off, right? I don't think it's going to be a crash. You're not going to see this absolutely burn. I think it's a correction. I think you're looking at a 1 to 2 week possible correction and a bottom out here at $12,598. So what's that going to look like in the grand scheme of things, right? Well, if we just drop really quick, I'm not going to be able to tell you an exact number, but if we just drop, the distance here, and we move this candle to about here and measure it up, what does this look like? About half of that candle, which would be about 1.75% more of a market correction in terms of just the NASDAQ alone. So if that is true, if we look at the overall market, just look at how red things were. You can see the Torchlight was down 7%, X-Zone was down 8%, Dropbox was down 2.65, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All these stocks took huge beatings. I mean, even Sensonics today had crazy great news release, and they just got pounded. They didn't get anything good out of that. So rough. It was a rough day in the market. But if you cut this in half, right? If the NASDAQ only has about 1.5% left, of course, if that's if we meet that trend, if we continue that trend of market corrections, right? You could probably cut in half the rest of the market corrections as well. So maybe Sensonics has to get back another 4% until it bottoms out. What would that look like? Maybe somewhere around here, right? You're respecting that level of support. Maybe you're testing out this candle wick, maybe a hair below that, right? What would that look like for MVIS? Maybe that looked like giving back another $1. So we closed the day at $16.18. We're at $6.55 right now. So maybe you're looking at 15 and some change, right? So you guys get the point here. I don't want you guys to be freaking out because the market's done. The market's over. It's crashing. It's the end of the world, because it's not. This is not the end of the world for the market. And I really, really want to double down on that. In fact, this is the best opportunity that we've had. And I would say literally months. This is the best opportunity we've had since November of 2020 to buy things at an undervalued price. The market's been bullish for a long time, guys, and to have a little bit of a bearish pullback, right? I get so amped. I'm like, thank God I get to buy stuff for cheap. I mean, Chris Sane says this all the time, and I don't want to just copy what he says, but he says when they sleep, we eat. And it's a little bit cheesy, a little bit corny, but it's legit, man. It's legit. Traders and investors are the only people on the planet that will buy something overvalued and then sell it out of fear when it's undervalued. That'd be like me driving off of a new car lot, and I just, one day I decide, you know what, man? I'm going to buy this brand new 2020 Honda CR-V. That's what I drive, believe it or not. I got that back in July. But I bought that for $30,000. And that'd be like me, 2 or 3 days later saying, I don't know if it's worth $30,000 anymore. I better sell this for $5,000. How does that make sense? That makes no sense at all. Don't let people scare you out of your money. Don't let this market correction think you that the world is coming to an end, because it is not, right? This is an opportunity for you to load the boat, improve your positions, right? That's what I'm going to do. When I've got dry powder, when I get paid here tomorrow by the Army, when I get my Patreon check on Monday, right? I'm going to take all that cash and I'm putting it straight into the market, and I'm loading the boat on these stocks that I've got heavy conviction in. I'm buying into my Sensonics. I'm buying into my MVIS. I'm buying into my AGTC, right? All these stocks that have been taking huge dumps lately, they've just been getting crapped on, right? I'm not freaking out. This is an opportunity for me to load the god dang boat on this, right? So do not panic. Do not panic. I really want to say that with the utmost confidence. That is how I am predicting this to play out. I'm not a financial advisor. There's no way that I can predict what the market does exactly, but I'll tell you what. If we look at this on the weekly chart again, the weekly candlestick chart, it has respected that trend over the last couple of years, and I would be willing to bet you that it's done it more than once. In fact, if we come back here and we just drop, I'm just going to give you more examples just to show you the strength of the market. 38.2% bounce here, right? So we can predict that, right? That was an exact 38.22% bounce. We look over here. What is this? That's a harsher market correction, so 61.81%, right? So that's a little more rough, but more often than not, we don't see these crazy, crazy sell-offs. I mean, this is back in 2008 when the housing market crash happened, so that's a little bit of an asterisk. Obviously, that was really, really bad, but you get the picture here is there is nothing to worry about. We're not looking at a housing market crash sort of situation. There's no catalyst like that that's going to cause this insane, insane sell-off. And even when COVID, the quarantine pandemic, all that stuff was happening, right? What were we looking at? What were we looking at in terms of a sell-off? Look at this blip. That's what we saw. We saw this right here. We saw this minor sell-off. And it might look big in like at the moment, right? But in the grand scheme of things, look what followed, right? You want to be a part of that. I'm telling you right now, you want to be a part of that. You want to buy in when stocks are just getting crushed, because that is an opportunity for you to get into this for so cheap and really turn a filthy, filthy profit. So I just want to pull up one quick indicator here. I want to pull up the 200 EMA, and we're just going to look at this on the daily chart again, the daily candles. And what you can see here is that the 15 MA is still actually trading over the 200 EMA right now. So this is technically still in bullish territory, which sounds insane. That sounds absolutely crazy, but it's because these indicators are messed up. Hold on. All right, back to reality. So my point being, check this out. In terms of actual bearish pullbacks, the last one that we had was back during the quarantine, back during the pandemic, the lockdown, right? That's when we actually entered a true bear market. This is a pullback. This is a minor pullback. Look at this. The 15 MA is literally just starting to hook down. So this is nothing to be concerned about. I am not concerned in the least bit about this pullback, my friends. This is going to be a blip in the grand scheme of things. You're going to look back at this a month from now and you're going to say, I am so glad I took the opportunity to buy the dip and sell the rip, man. And that's what I have for the video today. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like. It really does help support the channel, and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content like this. Lastly, I have an affiliate link in the description box down below for Webull. This is version 4 for the desktop. Great platform that allows you to start trading at 4 a.m. in the pre-market. If you use my link, you get 2 free stocks with a $100 deposit. I receive a free stock. Great way to support the channel, my friends. And if you're not interested, that is totally fine. I just appreciate your support by taking time to watch my videos. So that is what I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching, my friends, and I will see you all next time. Peace.